Hello, this is John Pinto, your roving realtor, bon vivant video blogger, podcaster, home chef, and in this case, disembodied voice. And I am here with Ph.D. nutritionist, founder of Nutrition IQ, Matt Tryon. Say hi, Matt.
Hey! What's up?
And Matt, you have a demi bottle in front of you. What is that? Let's display it.
This is the Cabernet Sauvignon 2015.
Okay, very good. That we are at Inglenook. And we are also here with Dr. Kriegh Mouldon, a cardiologist, electrophysiologist, easy for me to say, right? And you have a bottle of wine in front of you.
I do. This is an 09 Inglenook cab from Napa Valley.
There you go.
Right
Very
here.
good. Very good.
At
And
Inglenook.
the prior was McLeod, Scott McLeod, I think his name was, the winemaker. And this is Philippe, who's also the 2009, who's also the winemaker at Chateau Margaux. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the nexus of Dr. Matt and Dr. Kriegh's mutual expertise. Dr. Matt in microbiome and wearable tech, and Dr. Kriegh specializing in cardiology and electrophysiology. So where I'm going to go is I just bought at Dr. Matt's suggestion an Oura, O-U-R-A, ring that I've been loving. It's very inconspicuous. You hardly know you got it on. It's got an app, and it takes all kinds of measurements on heart and et cetera and other things. So Matt, let's start with you. We talked a little bit about the Oura ring in our prior video,
Yes.
but now you and I both have Oura rings. Can you familiarize our audience with the Oura ring and the measurements that it takes?
We are Oura ring buddies now.
That's right. Indeed.
So the Oura ring is a great, I think, a great app or a great piece of wearable technology that's been validated in a number of clinical studies, and it seems to correlate well with some of the gold standard measurements that they use in the clinics. Now for sleep, it does a pretty good job in terms of capturing the amount of time that it takes to fall asleep or total sleep duration, and it has a fairly good accuracy in capturing REM sleep, deep sleep. It'll capture your heart rate variability, but it also has a very good temperature gauge, so it can capture temperature changes while you sleep.
So if you're getting sick, you might know it before you have symptoms because it notifies you that your temperature is up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And
By
that's
the way,
actually worked for me for
on the sleep part, I usually don't sleep that much. I usually sleep maybe 5-6 hours a night, but then I usually take a nap. And I was shocked, without prompting, it recognized that I took a nap yesterday and added 3 points to my sleep score and readiness and said, now after your nap, you're really ready. What do you think about that?
I think you're fucking cheating as well.
I am. I'm gaming the system. So go ahead and just tell us a little bit more on those measurements, and then we'll talk to Dr. Kriegh on how those measurements interface and play into, electrocardiograms and arrhythmia and all that other stuff.
Well, it captures, during the night, it'll capture your heart rates, your average heart rate. It captures your heart rate variability. A lot of those metrics that I think are pretty important in terms of what sleep quality is capturing sleep quality overall.
So I was surprised to see my resting heart rate was 53, which means that's either very good or I'm dead. Can you tell me which?
Well, I'm no cardiologist.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure you're not dead.
So, Dr. Kriegh, we've talked a little bit about wearable tech. We talked a little bit about the Oura ring that you may not be familiar with, but we've talked about some of the measurements. I think we're done with this for the moment. What do you think about all this from a cardiologist, electrophysiologist point of view?
Well, having a low heart rate is a good thing. And it's a good thing because we have come to know that a low heart rate, which is a reflection of a certain activity in a part of our autonomic nervous system, the part of the nervous system that runs our involuntary bodily functions and keeps us alive, is a feature that connotes health or longevity, more specifically. And so, a low heart rate, not taking a drug like metoprolol or any drug that would lower heart rate, is a good feature to have. And it's an odd thing that cardiologists and electrophysiologists to this day do not understand why sudden death occurs or what things are going on that would predict it. But we do know that having a lot of what's called vagal tone, an amount of the parasympathetic side of the autonomic nervous system is associated with longevity. Heart rate variability is another manifestation of vagal tone where respiration changes influence heart rate. So as you inspire, heart rate dips. As you exhale, heart rate rises. And so the amount of variation of those rate changes that are caused by respiration is a reflection of vagal tone. And so the more heart rate variability you have, the better shape you're in.
Ah, okay. So, what do you have to say to our viewers on the concept of wearable tech? I know that might not be, your bailiwick, but what do you think of this wearable tech where you can intervene in real time on your own health monitoring?
I think it's great. It really offers a lot of people, particularly those who are interested in finding out what's going on in their bodies, how they're doing. And it's a virtually beat-by-beat notification, if you want to look at it that way. But more realistically, things that go on over a period of time, hours or days, can be collected. The information can be collected to tell you that things are good or not.
Good. So, Matt, we were discussing off camera, metaphorically, how your advocacy for people utilizing wearable tech is metaphorical to Martin Luther's message, like him or hate him, when he was advocating the idea that you did not need the Catholic Church to broker a relationship with God. You could go direct, and that resonated. And by the way, it synced up with the Gutenberg Press and all of the newly minted publishers who were looking for content. And of course, Martin Luther was extremely prolific in his writings. He just wrote nonstop. And because of Martin Luther and the Gutenberg Press and the Catholic Church's lack of a good sense to bring him in as a reformist and update their practices, they, of course, excommunicated him from the church. And today we have 1 billion Catholics and 1 billion Protestants instead of 2 billion Catholics. So, taking it back to what you're doing, the idea of Dr. Matt Tryon advocating for people not just relying on their doctors and their lab techs doing quarterly, biannual, annual lab work and occasionally checking in, but intervening on their own behalf in a real-time, minute-by-minute, hourly, daily basis, monitoring their essential measurements. Please enlighten us on how significant you think that functionality in wearable tech is for people maintaining their health.
Well, I'll preface this by saying that Western medicine, Eastern medicine is really important. I think that it's a great part of our whole system, and that it is a necessary part of our system. You're right. The message really is we can be accountable, and I think you would agree with that.
Yeah.
That we can all be accountable for our own health, and wearable technology really helps that. So here's the thing. In the next 10, 20 years, things like diabetes is supposed to double. And in the same breath as that, in fact, I think Time just published an article on this. There's never been a higher dissatisfaction with the medical model that we have right now. So we have essentially more people that are going to get these chronic diseases living kind of in a system that they're not happy with, and it's not serving them, serving their needs. But I think wearable technology is really at the interface of this, and being able to allow them to be accountable by collecting data and looking at their data and helping them achieve their health outcomes they really want by making appropriate changes. Now, that's one of the things I think with wearable technology is you have to know how to use the data, and I think that is the crux and the things that we're working out now.
That is where that's where someone like you and Dr. Kriegh come in to play.
Right. Interpreting data, knowing how to use that data, what it actually means, and taking action accordingly is really
And it's inspirational when you're getting that real-time feedback and you can make adjustments real-time and see the improvement in the numbers.
In my experience, and the number of clients that I've worked with, it really changes their behavior. Because everybody seems to think that they live a certain way, and when you look at the real-time data, the reality is that you're not. You have these ideas of the way things are, and data just tells us something else.
Right. So before we go on to Dr. Kriegh's thoughts on this subject, can you just give us a summarize of the easily accessible wearable tech that you think effectively can help our viewers monitor their personal health?
Well, that kind of falls into a number of phases. I like recording what I eat, and there are a number of apps. There's hundreds of apps out there that will record what you eat. I like one called Chronometer. Chronometer has really been very useful because it calculates and collects from a number of databases and collects all kinds of macro and micronutrients and ratios. For sleep, I really like the Oura ring. I think it's probably one of the top, most validated wearable technology that you can acquire. I think BioStrap also makes something very, 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 very helpful with that. And I think the Apple Watch is also, Apple does a very good job. They're very involved in analytics and developing technology that's accurate, that lines up with the gold standards of the medical field. So
now I know that Garmin has entered the fray too. Do you know anything about Garmin?
Yeah, I think Garmin's also great. I think that they're also they haven't really, in my opinion, again, this is what I'm saying, I like Garmin. Garmin, I think, does a good job in certain aspects of their wearables, particularly when it comes to like GPS mapping, things like that. I think they can collect all those kinds of points, but there's new technology that comes out, and there are companies that sort of are a little bit of ahead in implementing that technology, and I don't see Garmin catching up with those companies that are sort of edging themselves ahead in terms of the accuracy and the validity of that data.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Matt and Dr. Kriegh. What do you see as the biggest threat to patients in terms of cardiology and electrophysiology, and how do you think wearable tech can help people intervene in their own health and wellness?
Well, the biggest threat may be their own doctor, because, I have to say that this is all very new, and I think many doctors don't look at wearables as being capable of doing what they believe they have learned to do all these years. But in fact, I think all of this stuff that goes on with our health is far beyond our grasp, because it's so complicated. And so here's now an opportunity for data collection, which is the key part of this, that unleashes information that can help us better manage our patients. It's just that it's one of those things that, like who's minding the store. And the store has only been open for an hour a day when you go to your doctor, and the information that is needed to collect cannot be done. And so only, I think, in the last 10 or 20 years have we developed equipment that collects data. And in my business, that example is what's called the event monitor, and it pertains to rhythm analysis, or whether your rhythm behavior is normal the majority of the time. And these recordings come in a variety of ways. It extends from a moment, which I think we refer to as a point of treatment or therapy, where in the doctor's office you can get a 12-second EKG recording. Well, that point of care recording is extremely brief, and unless you had an event occur at the time it's being recorded, it's going to get missed. So you can extend these recordings all the way out to a 3-year period of continuous EKG recordings and never miss a beat.
So let's, you were showing me that very interesting little gizmo the other day at Housley. What was that gizmo you were showing me?
That's called the Kardia mobile app. Well, it's an app, but it's also a sensor that records. If you want to record your EKG, you have to get in touch with your body surface to get that electrical activity on tape. And so the Kardia mobile device allows you to record what's called one lead. There are many leads, which are perspectives on the heart rhythm activity from different angles. But a single lead is all you need to see what the rhythm is doing. The rhythm is nothing but what's going on the time base. It doesn't really care about the vertical axis of the recordings so much. And
Well, so how does that piece of technology help people intervene on their own behalf real time in their health and wellness?
well, as it regards the Kardia mobile, this is truly a point of care device, meaning that you're only going to get information when you pull it out of your pocket and put your 2 fingers down on the sensor and record your rhythm for 30 seconds. So it's limited in many different ways. If you had a problem of fainting, for example, this is not a device that's going to help you at all, because you're unconscious at the time you needed to know what was going on with your rhythm. So other devices are available that enable that, but the Kardia device does allow a lot of information, because if you feel something right now and want to know what is that, what's going on in my heart, if it's a rhythm problem, you can find out right now. Boom.
That is fabulous. So with that, I think we will conclude this video blog. But in the meantime, Matt, if someone wants to contact you regarding microbiome, developing a personal diet, wearable tech, etc., how do they contact you?
I'll be here at Inglenook.
Very good. I'll be sitting right next to you. I'll be drinking one of their Cabernet
Yeah, there's 2 of
Sauvignons.
those a night, really. It's mtryon at thenutritioniq.com. You can visit the website at www.thenutritioniq.com.
And Dr. Kriegh Moulton, you were mentioning your monograph articles on summaries on cardiology and electrophysiology. Where might someone be able to access your written works?
Well, this has just been kind of uploaded recently, and I've just finished working on these things. But one place is a website called ResearchGate. And it's really I don't know what you call it. It's a bunch of guys that are involved in research where they can talk about what they're doing and what they've got and what they've done. I've posted all these on there, but I've also put them on a website that my wife and I have put together that is a teaching program for people who work in EP labs that want to learn more about what's going on.
EP, electrophysiology.
Labs, yeah.
Okay.
And that's called orderanddisorder.com.
Very good. Well, I hope you found this helpful. It will be posted on our YouTube page, and it will be posted on Facebook Reels. Please like, subscribe, and thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next video. Bye for now.